Okay. All right, folks. We're going to keep this real short and sweet. You know what we're learning. Trading all-time highs, okay? This is just one part of learning all-time highs. Trading all-time highs is it's a total shift into price action. Total shift. Like this is where let me just dive straight into this. This is where I think around here is when all-time highs are created or when all-time highs are broken, which is yeah, I think I was right all the way back here. Right at that point is when all-time highs are broken. Now, just look after that point. Do you see how the price action just totally changes, but it's still going higher? Yeah, that's what you're dealing with all-time highs. You're seeing a total shift in order flow, and not necessarily shift in order flow, but just a total shift in the algorithm's delivery. Total shift. In which we're going to learn a little bit about that today. We're going to be learning about the basics of trading all-time highs. I probably need to label this as basics because this isn't going to teach everything. The warning. Probably, I'm putting a disclaimer. This will not teach everything about all-time highs. This is not enough. Let me show you everything else I have for you. Going here, there's this video right here, trading all-time highs, or which I'll probably label basics of all-time highs. But this is just, like I said, the basics of all-time highs in general. There is a lot of different things about all-time highs that are just like how price prepares, how it manipulates the algorithmic arrays that form throughout this, and the three rules of the algorithm, which is not necessarily a part of this, but is a part of this because you're using three rules of the algorithm for price preparation. And if you're skipping this, you're a little retarded. I got to be honest. If you are skipping through this, you're a little retarded. Do not skip through this because I'm trying to warn you before you continue and before you think, oh, I know how to trade all-time highs now. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. I'm not going to allow that. So there's 4 videos right here. Remember these titles, okay? Because I'm going to post this maybe in like the next 2, 3 days from this recording. The basics of all-time highs, which is this right here. The algorithmic arrays during preparations and expansions. Price preparation. And then the 3 rules of the algorithm. These 4 are all correlated to this kind of price action right here. It's all correlated. All right. Now let's get into the basics of trading all-time highs. Now, the one rule that you must remember with all-time highs, okay, or when you're trading at all-time highs, this is universal for all assets. It's going to keep printing higher all-time highs. It's going to do it. Period. Period, 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 period. You're probably like, do you mean period as in like it's gonna keep going up without having any retracements in general? No, of course not. Duh, I don't mean that. It's gonna have to retrace and come back down and have some sort of mini retracement, in which that's gonna be taught in those other videos I just showed you. Specifically, this one right here, price preparation. It's gonna be mainly taught there, but this is just gonna show you the basics of how all-time highs actually work. Okay. Now that you understand that price is just gonna keep going, keep going, keep going. And you want me to show you an example? I'll go to gold when it had its last rally. Let's go to the daily and move this out the way. I don't think I have to explain, do I? No, I don't think I have to. We're just going up, going up, going up. And mind you, this is all-time highs. So yeah, this is just using gold as an example. But as you can see, this is clearly universal, right? Right? Yeah, yeah, of course. You're very, very universal. So going back to the micro NQ, let's actually go over the other rules. Okay. There's like 3 rules or 3 basic rules you must know. Okay. One is that what? You already know this one. Prices when it's at all-time highs or when it's broken or is making all-time highs is going to keep making them. Keep going. It's going to keep going and keep going and keep going. All right. If you look in the compendium, I have a quote from ICT that directly says the one thing you want to do at all-time highs is long until it doesn't work. See? In short, long until it don't work. Literally, long until it don't work. This was a very vague quote in which I'm going to, emphasize a little bit more what that means in the other videos as I teased here. But anyway, let's go into the other 2 rules. The other 2 rules is that how price prepares itself or how you can anticipate price will keep delivering all-time highs or can potentially reverse is immediate rebalances. You're probably like, what? Immediate rebalances? Yeah, let me explain. Because when an immediate rebalance forms, okay, what is happening? Like, let's say a bullish immediate rebalance. Let's see here. I can just do this, then if I can move that out the way, and then do this, like another one. Okay, I might be just trash at drawing. Hold on. And do this. Then we got this candle. Oh no, see, yeah, I'm horrible at this. Hold on, wait. Okay, there we go. Then it comes all the way back down, and then you got the next candle. Just if I can get it, goes all the way up. Okay, you see the immediate rebalance is right there. Okay, when I say immediate rebalances, specifically on the 4-hour and daily when you're trading at all-time highs, okay? This is only dealing with all-time highs, obviously, right? So when you're at all-time highs, When I say immediate rebalances, look at the 4-hour and the daily, and I'll explain what I mean by look for them in literally right now. So, just to explain this a little further, okay? Just pay attention to that little trashy diagram that I just drew, okay? Price is obviously going to go up to create the higher highs, right? It's going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up. Eventually, price is going to get exhausted. Okay, it's going to get exhausted. The algorithm knows that it wants to go for all-time highs. Okay, but the think of its source code as like the mother in the actual algorithm itself, like the actual entity executing the code as the son. Okay, so the mother or the source code is gonna be like, you know, you need to go up, right? Like, if you don't go up, I'm gonna do something to you. That's basically what the source code is saying. But the actual entity, the algorithm itself is like, man, I'm tired. I don't want to do that right now. So I'm gonna just come back down in the form of a retracement. That's the algorithm's excuse to the source code or to appeal or to satisfy the source code to say, "Oh, source code, mom, I can come down here, right? Because it's an immediate rebalance, and then I can, go higher later because it's an immediate rebalance." Right? That's basically what happens. So price is printing all-time highs, going up, going up, going up. And it's like, okay, I'm tired. I'm a lazy bum, and I don't want to do this no more. So it comes all the way back down. Bang, there's immediate rebalance. And then it's like, okay, I can go back up now, right, mom? Because I fulfilled this source code. And then it just jumps up. See? Very, very simple. So if it wants to retrace, it has to fulfill or satisfy the source code, which is, in the what's the word? Analogy I just gave you is the mother, in which the algorithm or the entity itself that's executing the source code is simply the son of the mother. So the son has to satisfy the mother, which is, obviously coming down with some sort of excuse or reasoning in which that is the immediate rebalance. So that's it taking a break or exhausting itself real quick. And then right after the immediate rebalance, it'll tend to jump back up. So this is how price will primarily prepare itself when at all-time highs. How it'll prepare and propel itself. Prepare and propel. This is how it will prepare and propel itself to keep going higher during all-time highs. Think I'm lying? Let me just show you. Hold on. Let me delete this real quick. I got to turn that down because you can hear that through my speakers. But let's just look here. Like I said, you want to pay attention to the immediate rebalances that form on the what? The daily and the 4-hour. Now, look here. Take a look at every immediate rebalance that forms here. Just take a look. You do see them, right? Obviously, price is using those immediate rebalances to go higher. Well, you're probably like, how do we anticipate immediate rebalances to form all these time frames, or how can we use these to see if price is going to continue or reverse, or or where do they form in general? Let me show you. Let me show you. Okay. Whenever price makes a new all-time high, okay, in which this right here can be all-time high. Well, it is an all-time high. This right here, all-time high. This right here, another all-time high, because we keep going higher, obviously, right? Now, what's going to happen, or what you can anticipate, in which won't always happen, you can anticipate an immediate rebalance to form once a higher all-time high has been created, or basically when we keep going past the previous all-time high. You get what I'm saying? I don't have to explain, but basically when we keep going higher and creating more all-time highs is basically what it is. So this is a perfect example right here. We're only going over the second rule, which is the immediate rebalance rule. So you see that right here, we broke this what? This all-time high. So since we broke this all-time high and added more value to the market, price has to take a break. Why? Why? Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to do that? Okay. It's easier to burn money than it is to work for it, right? Price going up like this and just making all-time highs and keep going higher. Do you know what that's doing? Do you know what's actually happening? It's adding more value to this market. It's adding more value to this asset. Literally, like literally, the price is actively jumping higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. So that's adding more value, more well, what's the word? Not capitalization, but more value into this asset because you can literally see the price of it is jumping higher, 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 and higher. It's getting more expensive. So, since the algorithm is doing such a difficult and exhausting task, price has to exhaust itself or is going to get exhausted and it has to prepare in some way, shape, or form in which that preparation is going to be what? Immediate rebalances. So, notice right after that new all time high was broken, guess what happened? We came down. Price has to, or the algorithm has to fulfill the source code by retracing for a reason because its main goal and number one goal, only thing it's going to be focused on at all time highs is what? This is the first rule. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep going, keep making all-time highs. It's just going to keep going forever. So it has to follow that one rule. That's number one. Number two is if you want to retrace, okay, or if you want to, yeah, if you want to prepare or the algorithm is exhausted. When I say your, I mean, the algorithm. But if the algorithm is exhausted or wants to prepare to keep going up, it has to satisfy the source code in some way, shape, or form, in which that's in the form of what? Immediate rebalances. Takes out the high right here, bang, jumps up, comes back down, bang, there's the immediate rebalance right there. And guess what? Keeps going. Pretty simple, right? Yeah. Very, 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 very simple. You understand? Okay, okay. You understand. Now, watch this. There's another example right here, actually. It's right there. I'm sure you see it. But first, I got to mark out the all-time high that I'm talking about. Right there. There's the all-time high. So, since price has added more value into the market, it's added, let's see, an additional 439-point value to the NQ. This is the highest point that price has ever been within the what's the word? I can't get the word out. Within NQ futures. So the algorithm is like, oh my God, bro, I'm tired. I can't do this right now. I'm gonna have to come back down. In which it satisfies the source code by dropping back down to that candle's low. I mean that candle's high, creating a what? Immediate rebalance. And then there it goes. It jumps up higher again. You get it? You understand? Okay, I had to make sure. I had to make sure you understand. So basically, rule two is whenever you see an all-time high get taken, you can expect a immediate rebalance to form. Okay, you can expect that. In which normally the immediate rebalances will form overnight. You will see them form overnight, and then you may see price like jump back up in the morning. That's something you would normally see, in which I've been seeing a lot recently during these all-time highs because I'm still learning too. But I think I've got all-time highs down like 95%. I think there's a little bit more I'm missing with all-time highs. But rule one, price is going to the number one goal, or rule one for all-time highs is that price is going to keep printing them. Second rule is that whenever you see a all-time high get taken, or if price wants to retrace and or prepare itself, it has to create immediate rebounds because that's its one way of satisfying the source code so it can keep going. Because how can I explain the importance of the first rule? The algorithm listens to the first rule or will live by the first rule so heavily because it's ready to do one thing. It's not gonna price is yeah. How can I say this? Price is a lazy bum. I've said this before. Price is a lazy chud, a bum, a Discord mod, and doesn't want to stop. Once it's already doing something, it's like, man, I'm not finna stop, so I can just have to start this all over again. Because think of it like this: if price just comes up to all time highs, right here, this is where it makes all time highs, and then it has to come all the way back down and then go all the way back up. It's gonna be tired. Price is a human. It acts just like a human. It's a lazy bum. So since it's already at all-time highs, it's gonna be like, man, I'm not coming back down. I'm finna just keep going. And that's basically what it's gonna do. It doesn't want to do extra work. So that's why I'm emphasizing that number one rule so heavily. It's going to keep going and keep going and keep going. So if it wants to keep going back to the second rule, it has to what? Prepare, or if it wants to retrace at all to prepare itself, it has to retrace within the excuse of a higher time frame immediate rebalance, which is the 4 hour or the daily. Understand? In which it'll normally do those retracements after it's made a new all-time high. In which, if you look, every time I made a new all-time high, there's some form of immediate rebalance, in which there's one right there also. Understand? Okay, now I had to explain that deeply. Okay, because this is, oh, I just hit my mic. But this is like my fourth attempt trying to explain it, in which I'll have some sort of stutter. I'll say it wrong. It'll sound confusing. So I just finally explained it. Jesus Christ. Now, the third rule, okay? The third rule, or the third characteristics, really, these aren't really rules. The first one is really a rule. It's going to keep printing. That's the number one rule or the goal that the algorithm is going to have. But the other two are really just characteristics. These are rules and characteristics, okay? What price will also do, okay? Do you know what a liquidity injection is? Do you know what that is? Okay, let me just show you in the compendium. Hold on. I have this thing for a reason. I'm glad I wrote this down. I'm so glad I spent like 200 hours of my life writing this. Where's liquidity injection? Okay, here it is. In short, is basically when price takes that liquidity and accumulates right after it. It literally says right here, liquidity injection occurs whenever price purges liquidity and immediately accumulates right after doing so, injecting those orders back to the market to send price the opposite direction at all-time highs. That is flipped around. It's going to actually use the orders that were re-injected to continue, because what's the number one rule? What's the one thing that price is going to do at all-time highs? Is going to keep going. So instead of injecting those orders back into the market to go in the opposite direction, it's actually going to use those orders to keep going. Understand? This could be a good thing to see if you're expecting an expansion after the manipulation towards liquidity. What this will do, okay, I forgot to add that here, which I probably could add it now. What this will do is supercharge and basically give price the volatility, accumulation, and momentum to keep going. Okay, because you're re-injecting orders back into the market. I can't really explain it, but it's uh, like there's an active fire, not fire, but you have a campfire open, right? And then you put lighter fluid in the campfire to make it, bigger, like a bigger fire, and it could probably, you know, burn the whole forest down. You get what I'm saying? It's basically you have an active narrative, which is go up, but we're just using the liquidity injection or the, lighter fluid to kind of sort of propel that narrative so it can keep going. That's basically what a liquidity injection is. So I'm going to add that later, in which I probably should put that in my notes right now. Let me just do this real quick if I can. Oh, I can't edit it. Crap. Someone remind me in the comments to do that so I can, actually fix that error I had in there. But the third rule is liquidity injection. This is the same thing with immediate rebalances, but it can do either of these things. Okay, it can do either of these things. If it wants to keep going higher and wants to prepare, in which it'll normally do that preparation. Listen to me. It'll normally do that preparation or retracement after it's made a new all-time high or, broken the previous all-time high to create a higher one. You get the point. It'll normally do either of those things, creating a higher time frame immediate rebalance or create a liquidity injection, which will normally form on like the 4 hour or hourly. Okay. That's for liquidity injection specifically. It has to do one of those things, either immediate rebalance or liquidity injection if it wants to keep going higher. In which, let me go back to the daily so I can mark that. Hold on. Both actually occur right here. You're going to see what I'm talking about in just a second. Hold on. You're going to see. You are going to see. Now look here. Looky here. Oh wait, is it right here? Oh yeah, it's right here. It actually forms twice. Oh wow. Okay, yeah, so there's one that forms right here. This is a liquidity injection, and then this is another liquidity injection right here. Okay, now look here. This is the price action that created the immediate rebalance, okay? Right there. It's the same price action. And then this is the all-time high that it had to break right along here. Look here, okay? Let me delete that line. It takes out the all-time high. Bang. Now, since it's created a new all-time high, what's one thing that you can expect or anticipate? Not saying that it's going to happen because this doesn't always happen, but because you're always going to have one portion of all-time high price action where it's just shooting through the roof, no preparation, no retracements. You're going to have that, in which we just had that. What this week? Yeah, we just had that this week. So before that, obviously, you're going to have the preparation, the retracements, and stuff like that. So whenever you see price take out an all-time high to create a higher one, just always expect some form of accumulation or retracement to prepare price. So it took out the high, bang, right? Now you can say, maybe price can come down, create an immediate rebalance, maybe liquidity inject to propel the next move higher to create the higher all-time high, obviously. In which, look here, in which, guess what happens? We take out the all-time high, bang. What do we do after? Accumulate back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. Pretty cool, right? And then look here. This is what actually creates the immediate rebalance right here. This is that final candle that does it. Look here. We take out the all-time high here, adding more value to price action. So the algorithm is like, okay, now I really don't want to go higher right now. So what I'm gonna do to satisfy the source code is I'm gonna just drop down. Right, mama? I'm right. You're good. I can go down here. Okay, okay. So I can go down here on the daily just to create an immediate rebalance. And if I go back to the daily and zoom into price action right here, we can see that I create an immediate rebalance. How nice is that? And then price keeps going. Real simple, right? Real simple. Okay. Now, I think I really taught everything. Yeah, this is the end of the basics, just the basics of trading all time highs, in which you want to go over the three rules again? Sure, sure. I'll go over it one more time. First rule or primary objective, really, the primary objective for all-time highs is that it's going to keep making them. The algorithm is going to prioritize that first. It's going to prioritize that first. Said forced. It's going to prioritize that first, so it has to do other things, or it'll do anything so it can do that. It's going to prepare. It's going to retrace. It's going to manipulate. It's going to do whatever it needs to fulfill that objective. In which that you really can't fulfill that objective because you get the point. All-time highs are literally infinite. It can go to 40,000 if it wants to. So it can't really fulfill that objective, but it's going to always want to satisfy that objective. Second, or really um the other two, the two characteristics of what's the word? All-time highs, okay? You got number 1, which is the objective, then the other two, which is just characteristics or forms of preparation, basic forms of preparation. One, and these both form whenever price makes a new all-time high or breaks the previous all-time high to make a new one, you get the point, is either create a immediate rebalance on the 4-hour or daily, or form a liquidity ejection on the 4-hour or hourly. Okay, right after an all-time high has been broken to make a higher one, or basically adding more value to the market. Understand? Okay, all right. Just I just had to make sure you understood that. All right, 20 minutes, 21 minutes going on. I think this was pretty valuable, very very valuable because I've been seeing people get absolutely destroyed with what is it? All-time high price action. Had a little brain fog there, but anyway, this is the end of all-time high price action and the basics of it. Just little basics. There's more to come, in which I did give you the titles for those videos that are dealing with all-time highs. And until then, I'll see you in those videos. Good luck and good trading.